All right, so deep drop, summertime, number 3. Aspects of deep drop rigs and hooks and styles of things, right? So your thought on that hook right there that you're holding. Like what would you call it? That's an old school skunk.
This is old school as can be, but it works. This has a very small gap, in my opinion, for the size of the hook. I've got away from this hook for some reason. Don't know why I've gotten away from it, because I never had an issue with it.
That is messed up. I know.
And I plan on using this hook again, because the last couple deep drop tricks I had, I wasn't hooking that many fish.
You know,
But I went to this style hook,
Yep.
Mutu style, and I was having a lot of success with it, so I stuck with it. But lately I haven't been having success. Don't know, maybe my spots just aren't as good as they used to
when
be.
you say success of hooking them and coming off, or not, like what? Like getting bites?
Not a bite thing, of keeping them hooked, or your rod tip's bouncing like no one's business, and you reel up and there's one 3-pounder on there.
Right.
And it's like I didn't go crazy on the speed, and just not really hooking them and staying on.
Right. Feel like you're getting the bite, but they're not coming up.
Correct.
At the end, you're like, you're proud after that initial thing, and then
Yeah.
you're like, wait a minute, there's only one silky on here.
Uh-huh.
You know, catch one silk snapper, but you know you started out with 5. Okay. So this is, to me,
I think I went to this hook because it has a bigger gap. Obviously, there's 2 big size differences, but this is like a 3.0 Mutu. They call this a 13.0. But if you actually look, the gap is almost identical in these 2 hooks.
right? And yes, I see that.
So I liked the bigger gap with a smaller hook. I felt like it was lower profile in my bait.
Look at the difference there.
Yeah, they call this a 7.0. This is a 13.0.
Right.
And it's almost the same size hook, different gauge wire.
Right.
But I think the short little tip,
Yes.
maybe, you see how big this tip is that's rolled over?
Yes.
I think that kind of helps you keep the fish on the hook. This is more open, easier to fall off. This really has to rotate off. So
You know,
we'll be fishing one of these rigs in a couple of weeks and one of those rigs and seeing the hookup ratio difference.
yes. And I think there is. So I've fished enough to look at it and see the difference, and I'm going to tell you something. I got to tell you. So the 39960, this hook, okay, the 39960D, that's what this is, a Mustad. This is the standard for deep drop rigs. Now, when you talk about Mutu style that he's talking about, this hook, in your mind, as a fishing guy where your mind's always playing tricks on you, like the Ghetto Boys said, remember? My mind's playing tricks on me.
Don't recall that one.
Okay, so because you're too young. The Ghetto Boys said it best, my mind's playing tricks on me. So my mind's been playing tricks on me with these narrower, super sharp hooks. Here's the deal. When you deal in small snappers, you deal in vermilion snappers, where a rig, an 80-pound test rig with a circle hook, real small, where you're winding a fish 150 to 200 feet up, not 600 feet.
Yep.
This hook is effective.
Extremely.
This hook is effective. It locks in. The fish is only spinning so many times till he gets to the surface. Okay. The vermilion snapper, yes, they fight. Are they good fighters? But at the end of the day, it's not a queen snapper. So this is a very effective hook for smaller snappers close to the surface. Okay. I thought this was the answer. Let me go with the, why don't I use this on a queen, maybe a little bigger than this, a yellow eye snapper. Man, I gotta tell you, way worse. Exactly what you said. Rods jumping, we're doing what you said, pay out the line, let them fill up the whole rig, lay the lead on the bottom, they're all hooking themselves on this hook. The problem was I was feeling like a king when I bent the rod, and feeling like a twerp when he got to the surface and there was
Yes.
only one fish left on there.
100%.
Because this hook, with certain snappers, with the membrane in the mouth, here, you're gonna pull way more fish off. With a narrower hook, it wears much more of a hole quicker than an old school circle hook like this. Nick is correct in saying that once you've got them hooked on a rig like this, with the distance of the point to the actual barb here, it's really got to do a lot of work to come off. When you look at this, fish doesn't have to do a lot of work to come off that hook. And this little thin gauge wire cuts right through the membrane on that mouth and you spin fish off. Especially you guys who are hitting the button and coming up for broke without backing the drag off. We caught queens with this style. Take a look at these pictures of these queens with the thinner gauge hook. You know, on one of the trips we took this summer, I took the longer drops.
Yep.
I went with the Stanzik rig. I had fished with Nick, and Nick said, hey, you know, it's probably in your best interest for queens not to have a lot of shine on the rig. So I went down on maybe my last trip to Bimini. We did an overnighter, slept in bean bags. Really did great. Problem was we lost a lot of fish, and that particular hook, you know, with the long drops, did we catch fish? Yeah, we lost a lot more than we caught. When I'm talking to guys like Two Conks and the old school hook and thinking about being back in the days of the concrete machine with this hook, you know, back then it was the same hook, Nick, and this is a non-offset hook.
Non-offset.
3995
Yes.
is the other hook. This is 3996. This is 3960. The other one's 39950 with a bigger eye
Bigger eye.
and offset.
Offset.
Okay, which the deep drop hook. Great hook as well. Do I think it's better than this hook? It's got a bigger eye and it's offset. Didn't really see a difference in that. Now, the bigger eye for the hook to be able to rotate
Correct.
might be a little better. But from the hookup perspective to offset and non-offset with the same gauge wire and the same exact hook, no difference. We have huge success. I honestly think, again, simplicity, your shallow water snappers, wonderful.
Yep.
When you're going deep, and you're going with stuff like this, I'd rethink that, go back to the old school. I'm gonna stick old school. You feel like you're going back to it?
Yeah, we're gonna double up. We're gonna do a rig on each side of the boat next trip and see what happens.
It's a true scenario. And you know what? You know, all those little things you can say, my gosh, it's deep dropping. These guys are like, there is a system and an analysis to everything that you do. And there can be one guy catching fish in the bow, and in the stern, the guy can't catch his butt. And it has to do with the retrieval, like we said in the other films.
Oh, yeah.
The style of how you're fishing your lead, allowing the lead to hook the fish, the rig itself, the actual hook, all those things matter.
Yep.
Agreed?
Completely.
There you go. Let's go fishing. We're going to do one more film right now. We're going to talk about something very interesting. Do not miss the next film. If you've ever had a snap swivel come open while you're deep dropping, you're going to want to watch this. It happens. It's happened to me. It's happened to most guys who,
If you deep drop enough,
this is going to happen to you.
you've come up with plenty open snaps.
Check this out.